Autonomous driving refers to the ability of a car to be self-driving. These driverless cars are capable of sensing its environment and surroundings and maneuvers itself accordingly. These cars achieve this feat by utilizing an array of sensors, actuators, complex algorithms, machine learning systems, and a powerful processor to execute all this software. All these tools constantly gather data, which allow vehicles to communicate with not only each other, but also with traffic lights, signage, and the roads themselves. These driverless cars will drastically improve road safety as the sophisticated software is less prone to mistakes than human error. This decrease in the number of road accidents will enable for less traffic congestion, along with allowing people who are unable to drive to be able to get around and be less dependent on other modes of transport. Currently, there are a number of companies that are working with autonomous driving technology spanning a wide range of industries. One of the most well known, of course, being that of Tesla, that has boasted the impressive technology ever since 2016, allowing most of us to see or experience a completely autonomous vehicle operating right in front of us for the first time. Since then, other companies have worked tirelessly to catch up and incorporate the wide range of benefits this technology has to offer in their own vehicles. But even if we personally aren't ready for this change in how we drive and how our roads will operate, a number of other industries have also begun to experiment with autonomous driving to reconfigure their own practices. For example, in the industry of taxiing, a number of players such as Uber and Lyft are attempting to completely replace drivers in order to provide customers with a safer and less expensive means of transport. In an effort to cut costs and increase efficiency and safety, another industry that has seen a surge in investments in autonomous driving is in logistics, and more specifically, truck driving. These trucks will be able to maneuver our expansive highway system more efficiently and will be able to take our goods from point A to point B much quicker as they won't have to stop for resting. The world of taxiing services has been under storm since the introduction of companies such as Uber and Lyft made the world of hailing a taxi a thing of the past, as people could now call one straight from their phone and track where they were and how long until they arrived, allowing people in busy city areas and suburban areas alike to get where they are going more efficiently and with less hassle. However, a lot of taxi drivers are unhappy about the loss of revenue, which led to strikes in France, and Uber has seen various complaints on the behavior of their drivers who own and operate their own vehicles. However, the entire taxiing industry as a whole has begun to transition to the world of autonomous drivers, as all of these issues can be solved with the elimination of the drivers. As well as having a lower price tag, a lot of companies have begun to conduct small-scale operations as the technology continues to improve and expand. Waymo, owned by Google's parent company Alphabet, have been conducting trials in excess of 20 million miles as of January 2020, allowing the people of Phoenix, Arizona to get around cheaply and safely in the midst of a pandemic. However, even though its technology has been proven to be safe and effective so far, its success is more dependent on how its consumers will respond. People, when not in a pandemic, tend to gravitate towards human contact. Grocery stores still employ cashiers, and banks still have bank tellers. Therefore, people putting their trust in the hands of a machine and some software is ultimately more of a factor in the success of autonomous taxi vehicles than autonomous cars that people can own. These people have a little more control, as they are still required to be present, and will make this drastic transition a little easier on most of us. DHL currently only holds a 6% market share in the U.S. express market, lagging behind the likes of larger corporations such as FedEx and UPS. However, as the COVID-19 virus continues to ensue, U.S. truck driver employment has been down 65,700 jobs over the course of the year, despite adding 63,500 jobs since its lowest point in April. As these corporations scramble to find drivers, this increase in demand has caused the compensation demanded by the drivers to rise accordingly. As this demand increases, companies have begun working in a different direction as they gravitate towards the emerging technology of autonomous driving. DHL is a particularly attractive company in the race to employ driverless 18-wheelers in their operation. If DHL can pour enough investment into the technology, they could potentially become the first logistics company to employ the use of widespread autonomous vehicles. This would enable DHL to cut back on costs tremendously, as they will no longer participate in the climbing rates demanded by truck drivers, and they would also be able to bypass a number of other costs associated with a human operating the truck. These include stopping for rest and the possibility of human error that would result in a loss of cargo or damage to company property. DHL would be able to pass all these savings over to the companies they are providing logistics services for, giving them greater value at an extremely competitive price. This would allow them to rack up new customers, maybe taking some from their competitors, which would enable DHL to expand their market share and occupy the number one spot as competing corporations struggle to catch up. We have already seen cars on the road that can drive themselves, as Tesla owners have been flaunting the technology since it has been incorporated into all their models since 2016. But when will we see the mass adoption of autonomous cars? Various companies had promised us self-driving cars in 2020, but now it's 2021 and we have yet to see cars on main roads with no one in the driver's seat. What has been holding back the tremendous growth in the development of autonomous vehicles has been its dependence on advancements in AI technology. Self-driving cars need artificial intelligence to function, and overly optimistic predictions on the progress we would make in the world of AI has led us to a disappointed outlook on the future of autonomous vehicles. In order to have a functioning autonomous vehicle, it must understand good driving behavior, which can only be achieved by having billions of hours of training data. However, collecting this abundance of data requires a large amount of investment and patience. Therefore, in order to have an autonomous vehicle that we want to have on the road that will improve road safety instead of adding more uncertainty, we just have to be patient and allow these complex machines to continue to learn. Sierra Leone has had a long-running struggle with poverty, which has prevented most families from accessing healthcare. As the country got hit by the Ebola outbreak, the country's healthcare system has continued to erode as their government lacks the funds and resources to help its people. Due to Sierra Leone's layout of sparse small settlements, any efforts from the government or aid agencies to provide the struggling population with help haven't been as successful as they need to be. However, autonomously driven vehicles could be employed in order to reach these settlements at a lower cost, as they can maneuver these back roads and carry more food and medical supplies. This would allow the people of Sierra Leone to focus less on how they will eat that day or how they will get better, and increase their focus on lifting their crippling economy.